Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, November 17, 2022. Cabinet has given approval for a constitutional reform committee to be established. This committee will play a key role in ensuring Jamaica's smooth transition to a republic. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Marlene Malahou-Fort, made the announcement in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. She says it will be a consultative and collaborative committee with representatives from the government and opposition, the Attorney General, and constitutional law experts, including persons from academia and the private sector. The body will be supported by a secretariat through the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. It will include the permanent secretary, the Director of Legal Reform and a technical team, the Chief Parliamentary Counsel and a technical team, Senior Director of Constitutional Reform, and a recording secretary. Minister Malahou-Fort says much of the groundwork required to move away from the monarchy has been done through previous constitutional reviews. With that in mind, this committee is to provide advice on the remaining work to be done and how the steps should be sequenced to implement those recommendations.
The starting point will see a focus on matters on which there is consensus, starting with those matters that are deeply entrenched.
She adds that the background documents to inform the work of the committee have been prepared.
So those recommendations of the Joint Select Committee on Constitutional and Electoral Reform, as well as the recommendations of the Constitutional Commission, will be placed before the committee for them to note, for them to look on, and for perspectives to be engaged on them.
The minister says the committee will examine the provisions of the Order in Council, the Constitution of Jamaica, and the Jamaica Independence Act, identify provisions that will require amendment, if any, and give effect to the reform recommendations. It will also advise and make recommendations on the shift from a constitutional monarchy to a republic, including the type of republic and the necessary powers to address Jamaica's governance challenges. It is expected that the committee members will be announced in December. Jamaica is now home to another 2 child-friendly spaces to assist child victims of human trafficking and other serious crimes. The 2 newest spaces launched on Tuesday have been established at the Independent Commission of Investigations INDICOM offices in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Now, these dedicated child-friendly spaces, what they'll do is to provide a safe and secure environment for child victims and witnesses of trafficking and other abuses. So when they are recounting their stories, it will prevent re-traumatization. Each suite will allow for easy access and use by the victims and witnesses who may have disabilities and other vulnerabilities.
They follow the launch of Jamaica's first ever child-friendly space in March, based out of the Falmouth Police Station in Trelawney. All 3 are a product of the U.S.-Jamaica Child Protection Compact CPC partnership, which was signed in 2018 to build on Jamaica's existing efforts to identify victims and prosecute and punish perpetrators of child trafficking, among other targets. It is being funded to the tune of $6.7 million from the U.S. Department of State's Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons, with the Jamaican government investing significant resources and personnel towards the initiative.
As part of the CPC, our law enforcement partners operating these child-friendly spaces have also received training in victim-centered, trauma-informed, and age-appropriate practices. We look forward to launching additional spaces in the coming months.
INDICOM's commissioner says the services of registered intermediaries, such as sign language personnel and special educators, will also be made available through the child-friendly spaces. Government is rolling out a $50 million program this month to increase citizens' access to point-of-care testing for diabetes. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dunstan Bryan, says this is important for persons to improve monitoring and control of the illness.
Your A1C, HbA1c tests will soon be available in 128 health centers. We are providing the testing devices and the kits, the ICT equipment and software, and we are also providing over $30 million for the procurement of these pieces of equipment.
Mr. Bryan says a contract is in place for the purchase of 50,000 HbA1 tests, which are to be provided to the regional health authorities for the administration of testing. He says private providers engaged in the public-private partnership for NCDs have already started testing for public patients enrolled in that program. All 128 health centers will start testing this month. Approximately 10,000 residents are to benefit from the renovation and expansion of the Malvern and Newmarket Health Centres in St. Elizabeth. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton recently signed contracts for the upgrading of the facilities at a combined cost of $37 million. Maxwell Construction Limited will be renovating the Newmarket Health Centre at a cost of $5 million, while the Malvern Health Centre renovation will be done by Costly's Construction at a cost of $32 million. Minister Tufton says the ongoing investment in primary healthcare facilities forms part of a 10-year strategic plan to enhance the health sector. This, he says, is necessary to push preventative healthcare and curtail the prevalence of non-communicable diseases, which are responsible for 80% of deaths in Jamaica.
It's important because it really is what the people in the community depend on to get the basic care and the basic outreach in supporting prevention methods. And we have long felt that we need to invest more in community-based interventions for public health. And this is what this expenditure is doing.
And finally, $417,000 has been raised to build a pediatric clinic in St. Anne. The ISA Trust Foundation raised the funds from a benefit concert held in New York on November 12. It includes a $200,000 donation from international charity Direct Relief. The clinic will provide healthcare services for children and adolescents in St. Anne and surrounding parishes. Wife of the Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for St. Andrew East Rural, Juliet Holness, was patron of the fundraising event held in Manhattan. She expressed gratitude to the donors. President of the ISA Foundation, Diane Pollard, also expressed gratitude to those who supported the fundraising gala, adding that it is hoped more partners will step up and join forces in these endeavors. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.